Good morning and welcome back to FEMA podcast. You can hear my washing machine in the background because it's in the kitchen. Nobody's being drowned or beaten up out there. If you hear water and you hear just pummeling, because that thing is loud for some reason sometimes. So just ignore that. You might hear it every now and then, but I need to do laundry and I had time to record. So I had to do both. I'm going to be going into a little bit more on the Ohio train accident today because I have a few articles pulled up that I thought were interesting I was looking at this morning. If you want to follow along, you can find me at fearmeitsbre on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and is there another one? You can find my Substack, fearmeitsbre at Substack. So there's that as well. So we're going to jump into, I think the first one I have pulled up is, where'd my mouse go? Okay, here we are. We're good. We're going to jump right in. So the first one I have pulled up is residents break out in rashes after Ohio train derailment. So that's fantastic, right? A woman was forced to evacuate her home due to the train derailment in Ohio, now has a rash on her body. It's been 2 weeks since the train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, and toxins were released into the air. Fantastic. After being evacuated, Caitlin, don't know how to say that last name, so I'm not going to try, and her boyfriend Chris went back home. She told News Nation she broke out in a rash almost instantly. It's been 2 weeks since the train derailed and the toxins were released. All clear here. Today I interviewed a woman who went back in her home, and after being evacuated, she got a rash. Her story airs tonight from News Nation. I don't think I can expand that, but that's what her face looks like. It looks like chemical burn probably, which I would assume that's what it is considering what is floating in the air right now and floating in their water. I undressed to get in the shower and I had a rash all over the side of my face, on both sides and all over my chest, she said. The rash is all over her face, neck, and chest. My boyfriend Chris also had a rash on his left side, and I mean, to this moment right now, I have just a really low-grade constant headache. The couple live nearly a mile from the train derailment site, where Norfolk Southern released toxins into the air 2 weeks ago. The issues clearly persist. So, yeah. They have a video, too, that I'm going to play as well. You gotta find the play button here.
And this comes more than 2 weeks after the train derailment threatened a small town. Governor Mike DeWine came under criticism for not requesting federal aid sooner, and that his office criticized FEMA over allegations FEMA was not stepping up to help. Meantime, there are new reports that former President Trump will be visiting East Palestine on Wednesday. Trump is expected to meet with community members, and now word that
I have something to say about that as well.
will also be in East Palestine for a town hall meeting. News Nation was the first network to speak with her after the disaster. The conditions are so bad that one woman who News Nation has been in contact with has rashes on her body after showering. Let's get to News Nation's Rich McHugh live on the ground in East Palestine, and Rich, you spoke with a couple who's already having some negative health effects.
Hey, good evening, Natasha. That's right. So the first news is that the CEO of Norfolk Southern was here today, finally after 2 weeks, showed up, met with officials in this church behind me, closed door meetings, was escorted in and out by police, but was overheard telling someone he is here in support. The people we're speaking to don't buy it. For instance, they say that the health threat is real here, real time. One couple we spoke to went back to their house. We'd interviewed them earlier in the week. They went back to their house today for 30 minutes and had some crazy health effects. Take a look.
So we were in the kennel this morning, picking up some supplies. We left. I went home to take it to, home. I went back to the place where we were being evacuated.
Caitlin Schwartzwelder and her boyfriend Chris, after being evacuated, came back home today. But she says she broke out in a rash almost instantly.
I undressed to get into the shower, and I had a rash all over the side of my face, on both sides, and all over my chest.
Take a look at these photos of her this morning after coming back on her property. The rash all over her face, neck, and chest.
My boyfriend Chris
But everything's fine.
also had a rash down his left side, and I mean, to this moment, right now, I have just a really low-grade constant headache.
They live nearly a mile from the derailment, where Norfolk
Wow.
Southern released the toxins into the air 2 weeks ago. But their persist. But with FEMA finally coming in with all the focus directed at East Palestine, these folks say they're forgotten because they live just over the state line in Pennsylvania.
It feels like nobody gives a damn beyond us.
They too were forced to evacuate.
And what if we couldn't afford to do any of this?
My wife is 37 weeks pregnant this Friday, and she's going to be induced. And it's all a little scary because we can't drink the water. We're unable to get our water tested because we're not a priority as of now. So, don't know what my newborn son is going to come home to.
John and Julie Kent.
But according to the Biden administration up until like 5 minutes ago, and our transportation guy, Pete Buttigieg, everything is fine, right? Nothing to worry about here, nothing to see here at all. Oh, there we go. Doesn't sound like everything's fine to me. Rashes. I mean, that's terrifying. I have kids. I can't imagine going in to have a baby and then be like, yeah, okay, well, we're going to go home, but we can't drink the water, so we can't mix you up some formula. I can't drink the water, so I can't drink the water to breastfeed you. Like, what are you going to feed your baby without water? Water is so detrimental to life and sustainability. So on that, right? They mentioned Donald Trump is going to be visiting the area. And I'm going to move over to that one. I want to say, yeah, let's start with this. So, we got residents breaking out in rashes. We had finally, right? Biden administration has decided to send FEMA aid because originally they said multiple times, they kept shooting the governor down, being like, no, you guys don't qualify as disaster relief. No, you don't qualify as disaster relief. No, we're not going to send you anybody. Nope, this isn't happening. And then Donald Trump decided to throw his hat in the ring and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go down there and visit. We're going to see what we can do. And within like a political minute, the Biden administration said, guess what? You guys qualify for aid. Isn't that fantastic? We're going to send you stuff. Seriously? I went on Twitter, right? And I said, listen, you can't only care when it becomes a competition, POTUS, because somebody else one-upped you and is actually willing to go down and help. I know it's a great publicity stunt for Trump. Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't out of the goodness of his heart. But even Newsweek, right? So Newsweek has this article that I have pulled up that says, Joe Biden has handed Donald Trump a huge win with Ohio response. President Joe Biden may have handed former President Donald Trump a major win as his administration faces criticism over its handling the train derailment in Ohio. I'm not sure if that video is going to play and interrupt me. We'll find out. Trump will visit the town of East Palestine, Ohio, where the derailment occurred next week, with the former president touting the trip on his Truth Social platform on Saturday morning. So yesterday morning, the Biden administration has faced anger from local residents and criticism from many elected Republicans over its response to the incident, while neither Biden nor Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has yet visited. And Pete Buttigieg has been MIA with so many disasters that it's not even funny. So why would we trust him to show up or anything at this point? However, Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and Mr. Michael Reagan, I'm not sure, visited the site on Thursday. The derailment on February 3rd released highly toxic chemicals into the air, water, and ground, and has led us to significant concern about the long-term effects on the local community. Yeah, no kidding. On Saturday, Trump shared an article on Truth Social about his planned visit to Ohio. Writing those affected by the derailment, he said, great people who need help now. In another post, Trump wrote, Biden and FEMA said they would not be sending federal aid to East Palestine. As soon as I announced I'm going, he announced a team will go. Hopefully, he will also be there. This is good news because we got them to move. The people of East Palestine need help. I'll see you all on Wednesday. So, yeah. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, confirmed on Friday that they will be providing assistance to Ohio after reportedly earlier telling Governor Mike DeWine's office that the state was not eligible for emergency help. The White House also announced on Friday that they are deploying a team of medical personnel and toxicologists to conduct public health testings and assessments from the Department of Health and Human Services and Centers for Disease Control. Ohio has long been viewed as a key swing state in presidential elections, though the state last voted for a Democratic candidate in 2012 when President Barack Obama ran re-election. Trump has already declared his intentions to seek the Republican presidential nominee in 2024, and he won Ohio in 16 and 20. Thomas Gift, that's a funny name, founding director of the Center on U.S. Politics, University College London, UK, told Newsweek on Saturday that the Biden administration's approach to the East Palestine derailment could have major political implications. Criticism of Biden's flat-footed response to the Ohio tragedy is well-deserved, Gift said. Even if it is just a symbolic show of support, the fact that it took a senior administration official roughly 2 weeks to visit the site isn't excusable given the size and magnitude of the incident. Gift told Newsweek that, while it is hard to talk politics in the wake of such a tragedy, it is also particularly head-scratching the White House could be so delinquent in Ohio of all of places. If Democrats end up losing the key swing states, there's no doubt there will be endless finger-pointing, and for a good reason, one who failed to see this coming, Gift added. President Biden's administration has defended its response, aimed at amid the criticism, saying it had mobilized a robust multi-agency effort to support the people of East Palestine, Ohio. Other than Reagan, no other member of the cabinet has yet visited East Palestine in the wake of the derailment. East Palestine Mayor Trent Conway told a community meeting this week it took almost 2 weeks for anyone in the White House to contact him, while Ohio's Republican Senator J.D. Vance pushed back against Buttigieg's comments about the Trump administration loosening train safety rules, which I also have something I'm going to go into about that as well, a Washington Post article. Stop blaming Donald Trump, a guy who hasn't been president for 3 years, and use the powers of federal government to do the things necessary to help people in this community, Vance said. So that is something that I am so darn sick of hearing about. I don't know about anybody else, but I get that people don't like Trump. I don't like Trump, but he was president 3 years ago, right? Even if he enacted some policy 3 years ago, Biden has been president for 2.5 years now. If he really cared and he really wanted to do things about this, he would have done them. Stop saying, well, the other guy left me with this, because so what if the other guy left you with that? You keep saying, I'm going to veto things. I'm not going to let things pass. I'm not going to let things go through. Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and start doing that kind of stuff, right? I get that there's always going to be a fight in the House and the Senate if they don't agree with you. But you're claiming that I can't do this because of the past? Then what's the future? There is no future with you at this point. So that was an interesting little thing where, you know, the Biden administration has done nothing to help these people. What have they done? All through their Twitter, all I see on Twitter, is this my homepage? Yes. All I see on POTUS and that other woman's Twitter. Let's go to this one. Wow. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Okay. There we go. Where is it? Things like this. Make no mistake. If Congress passes a national abortion ban, I'll veto it. We care about that right now, right? The next time you hear they're talking about big spending Democrats, fentanyl, not like these aren't important things. It's time to pass the Equality Act. Yeah, well, everyone already has equal rights here. This is America of genius. Education, blah, blah. So it's like, dude, this is all since frickin' Ohio, and you haven't said a thing. Look, let's tout and boast our manufacturing jobs. Why don't you go send some of those workers to take care of things? Why don't you fix the train rails that you claim that you were going to be fixing? All of this tax money is going to infrastructure, and it doesn't seem like it's doing a dang thing, right? Why is this all still happening if you are so big on putting our tax money into infrastructure, repairing roads and bridges? Clearly you're not doing a thing that you're saying you're doing. Let's go to Kamala and see, in the wake of all of this devastation in Ohio and company, what she's doing, right? No, I want, like, Kamala's. Yeah, okay, thank you. Not people talking about Kamala. Big Pharma, okay. No, you're not taking on Big Pharma. You are in bed with Big Pharma. Thank you very much. Oh, good. Great. Welcoming Sweden and Finland into NATO. That's fantastic. War. Okay. Shh, don't speak on this. Don't speak on this. You just have no low intelligence and even lower charisma. Ukraine. The stakes in Ukraine, funding Ukraine. President Macron from not Russia, that other place. France. Germany, Ukraine. Student debt. Manufacturing. Okay, cool. Achieving what promise? Oh, racial equity, which means that everybody... Listen, that's a debate between equity and equality and what they really mean, and I'm not going to go into that because that's not what this episode's supposed to be about, but equity is not equality. Thank you very much. Germany. February 15th. Dianne Feinstein. I don't know. Munich again. Ugh. Happy Valentine's Day, Dougie. That's just... Okay, can you just not? It's weird. He just kissed the first lady. Like, deal with that. But anyway. We are going back through here. Infrastructure. State of the Union. Ukraine. Just utter nonsense and fluff. Where is the Ohio stuff? Tell me about... I'm going to run that Patriot quote again. Tell me about Ohio. Seriously, like, where is it? There is nothing. You guys are all talking in here about, like, lead pipes and kids having clean drinking water. Okay, that's all well and good, but when there's a natural disaster, the biggest man-made disaster on United States soil, you have nothing to say about it. I just realized I wasn't playing the right screen, so you didn't get to see any of those tweets I was talking about, but hopefully I narrated it enough with my voice that you actually got to, like, get a taste of my disdain for, like, how there's, like, nothing in here at all of any substance, at least toward Ohio. Whoa, okay. There you go. See, you know, there's like, oh, Ukraine, we must keep funding Ukraine. Yeah, well, what about your own soil? Clearly you don't care. And you only care because Trump decided to go say something and you were like, oh man, we cannot let Trump one-up us. That's so bad. We got to get in there now. Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to read is a Washington Post article, I believe, right? Why am I getting this? This isn't it. About government and state affiliated media. Okay. Yeah, we know. Biden's the president. Cool. I think when I like clicked on Biden, it clicked on his Twitter badge and it was like, oh, this is why he has this badge or something like that. Something dumb like that. Okay. Anyway, so this is the reader view of a Washington Post article because I don't want to pay for that. So like, look how weird it is with the icons where it's like, listen to this article, gift this article to a friend, share this article. Like if I click that, is it actually going to share it or is it just like image? Yeah, it's just image. Anyway, so I want to say we just read this one. So this is the picture of the article. Right. Okay. And the title of the article is very baity and eye-catching and like any average Joe who gets their news from just like reading the article title is gonna see this and be like, ah, Trump, obviously it's his fault. It's all his fault. Article title says so. The Trump administration abandoned rail safety rules that were pursued during the Obama era. The Biden administration is trying to revive some of them. So basically, like, it looks like it's trying to paint this as, well, this clearly happened because Donald Trump abandoned some safety standards, right? Well, I tweeted, I think my favorite part of this article is how it says, Trump did bad thing, but even if Trump did not do bad thing, this still would have happened. Direct quote from article. Had the Obama era rule remained in place, it still would not have applied to the train that derailed in Ohio, right? So I'm going to go back to the really jarringly hideous reader view of that article. So, you know, it starts out about Norfolk Southern Chief Executive Alan Shaw shared a picture of him and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg smiling together after a meeting in Washington. I don't know what Pete Buttigieg does aside from take way too much paternity leave and not do his job, but photo ops are great, right? They look great. They shared goals for economic growth, blah, 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 talk, fluff, fluff words. Every time we shift freight from highway to rail, we reduce carbon emissions, ease congestion, and reduce wear on the nation's publicly funded highway infrastructure. Okay, yeah. The meeting had another purpose. According to a memo drafted later by Transportation Department lawyer, it was an opportunity for Norfolk Southern to raise concerns about a proposed federal rule that would require trains, in most cases, to have 2 crew members. Federal regulators have argued that 2 workers could better respond to derailments and other emergencies, but industry has pushed back against the proposal. Story continues below advertisement. Oh, that must be like, you know, the way the article would be structured if it wasn't in the reader view. I did skim through this already. It's pretty long. It looked a lot longer on my phone because, you know, your screen's like this big and you're like, okay, come on. Versus like, boom, this is on my computer right now. Norfolk Southern, the nation's 4th largest railroad with a record of $12.7 billion in revenue last year, is now in the defensive, tied to images of black plumes of burning vinyl chloride over East Palestine, where a 149 car train derailed February 3rd. As the National Transport Safety Board investigates the cause of the derailment, the railroad has become a target of anger from residents in the small Ohio town and scrutiny from lawmakers and regulators in Washington. I'd be pretty mad too. Tied to images of black plumes of burning vinyl chloride. That is hysterical. Tied to images. Like, oh no. Who caused those images? Why are those images there in the first place? I wonder what happened. It's not at all like a train derailed. It's not at all like people weren't doing their jobs. Okay, I think I just read that part. Anyway, so they're talking about like legislatives and stuff. Under Barack Obama, derailment points to a systemic breakdown in the federal safety regulatory process. She said federal safety officials have faced challenges for decades in getting new rules through a vetting process where criminal safety measures can be critical. Wow. I said I can't read. Where critical safety measures can be subject to long delays and are routinely watered down by industry influence or bureaucratic struggles over cost and benefits. That's my washing machine. I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so the part of the article that really kind of made me laugh out loud, I was reading it to my husband this morning, where I was like, oh, look at this headline. Clearly they're going to try and blame Donald Trump for all this, right? Especially because he just announced he's going there. So you got to remind the people that, hey, just because Trump says he's going to go help out doesn't mean that he didn't cause this, that, you know, his bad policy didn't cause this whole thing, right? So we scroll down to a very specific part of the article. I struggled to find anything that really related to Trump in the whole article, even though they used his administration as the headliner. And now, I want to say it's right here. Okay, here's one. Under the Obama administration, transportation officials sought to advance safety rules after the 2013 explosion of an oil train in Canada killed 47 people, but railroads found that regulators in the Trump administration were receptive to their arguments of rolling back rules. When the administration announced that paring the rules would be a focus, Norfolk Southern wrote to Transportation Department 2017 of their priorities. I'm trying to find... Okay, here we are. All right. So this is the part of the article that I really just kind of like scratch my head at. Among them, blocking efforts begun in the Obama administration that would have set rules on minimum crew sizes and rolling back requirements on new electronic braking technology on trains carrying large volumes of hazardous flammable liquids. Both measures ultimately were scrapped in the Trump era. While the proposed crew rule has been revived, federal officials said Friday that they are facing challenges in pursuing a rule on new brakes after it failed a cost-benefit analysis, which showed that under a range of scenarios, the cost would be hundreds of millions of dollars more than the benefits the changes would bring over 20 years. The new technology would ensure that all rail cars brake at the same time, rather than running into each other and creating the telltale accordion effect seen in aerial images of major derailments. This is the part, though. Had the Obama-era rule remained in place, it still would not have applied to the train that derailed in Ohio because it contained too few cars for carrying especially dangerous flammable liquids. The braking system that was in place on the Norfolk Southern train is a Civil War era braking system. I mean, if it's okay. Anyway, the rest. Sorry, I'm gonna drink some water. The rest of that article is kind of fluff. But seriously, I laughed so hard at this because this one part where it was like, had the Obama era rule remained in place, it still would not have applied to the train that derailed in Ohio because it contained too few cars carrying especially dangerous flammable liquids. Again, had the Trump administration, I think my favorite part of this article is how it says Trump did bad thing, but even if Trump did not do bad thing, this still would have happened. So don't take an article, frame it that this is all administration's fault, where even if that administration had not done any of the things that you're claiming that they said that they did, this still probably would have happened. But they know the average reader skimming Twitter is just going to see that, and they're going to look at it, and they're going to be like, oh, article, I don't have time to read that, but the title said this, so we're just going to go with that as fact. Clickbait. Anyway, I just kind of had to like bring that up because that's something that I just was like, this is fine, right? This is fine. Oh, this is kind of sad. Say what you will about Jimmy Carter. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him. But it sounds like he was just admitted into hospice care, so it sounds like I don't know much about like his current health. Kind of forgot he was still alive, to be honest, but it sounds like, you know, it's always very sad when somebody wanes to that point in their life. I've seen it before. I've been around elderly people who, you know, hit the stage of life, and no matter who you are, it is tragic and it is sad, regardless of if you agree with their politics or not. I think we all can see this, and we can all feel for Jimmy, right? In 2019, Jimmy Carter, the oldest living former president in U.S. history. Wow. At age 95. So he's even older than that now. 2019. Wow. Built Habitat for Humanity homes in Nashville. President Carter represents the best in humanity. I don't know if that's actually true with, you know, considering his policies and things, but wow. So this is 2019 then, right? So wow. Hang on a minute. So if that was 4 years ago, if that's Jimmy Carter 4 years ago at 95, he's 99. Is that true? Is he 99? Let's go down here. I don't... I'm lazy. $98. Wow. That's crazy. I look young. He was only the 39th president. That's pretty crazy. Like, obviously that's generations after, you know, America became a thing. But that's not that, like, wow. It doesn't feel like that far from the founding of America if you really think about it. Like, that's only 39 presidents. I mean, we're only on, what, 46? Wow. That's sad. Like I said, no matter who you are, it's always sad to see someone decline into this stage. Even Joe Biden, who is definitely in a stage where he probably should be receiving care. Anyway, yeah. That's crazy. It's sad. We also have some more sad news as well from the Hollywood scene. I'm gonna hop on, I guess, this post-millennial article. With Bruce Willis. Okay. Bruce Willis diagnosed with cruel form of dementia. Family releases statement of support. Bruce's condition has progressed, and we now have a more specific diagnosis: frontotemporal dementia. So I think most of us have known Bruce Willis ended up stepping down from acting because of his health issues. We also had Chris Hemsworth, who ended up taking a break from acting as well after his most recent Thor film and a few other things, because I guess he was not diagnosed, but like he found out that he's very likely to have like early dementia or something, so he wanted to spend more time with his family, understandably. But yeah, Bruce Willis diagnosed with cruel form of dementia. So there's old Brucey. On Thursday, the family of Bruce Willis released a statement that the 67-year-old retired actor had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, a progression from his diagnosis last year with aphasia, a brain disorder that causes an inability to express and understand written and spoken words. So because of that, last year is when he was, he started to step down from things. I forget what his last role was, but Willis's family, including ex-wife Demi Moore, wife Emma Hemming, and his 5 daughters, released a statement on the Associated for Frontotemporal Degeneration's website and said, "Since we have announced Bruce's diagnosis of aphasia in spring 2022, Bruce's condition has progressed and we now have a more specific diagnosis, FTD. Unfortunately, challenges with communication are just one symptom of the disease Bruce faces. While this is painful, it is a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis." FTD is a cruel disease that many of us have never heard of and can strike anyone. For people under 60, it is the most common form of dementia. That's interesting. And because getting the diagnosis can take years, FTD is likely much more prevalent than we know. Today, there are no treatments for the disease, a reality we hope can change in the years ahead. As Bruce's condition advances, we hope that any media attention can be focused on shining a light on this disease that needs far more awareness and research. Bruce has always believed in using his voice in the world to help others and to raise awareness about important issues, both publicly and privately. We know in our hearts that if he could today, he would want to respond by bringing global attention and how connectedness with those who are dealing with this debilitating disease and how it impacts so many individuals and their families, the statement added. On Twitter, Charlie Kirk wrote, "Sad to see the news about Bruce Willis, a great actor and a great American. This country may have peaked when he dropped Hans Gruber from the top of Nakatomi Plaza. Prayers up for this man." According to the Alzheimer's Society, the word frontotemporal refers to the 2 sets of lobes, frontal and temporal, okay, makes sense, in the brain that are damaged in this type of dementia. FTD occurs when disease damages nerve cells in these lobes. Willis rose to fame in the 1980s by starring in the hit sitcom Moonlighting, but then grew to stardom in the breakout 1988 hit Die Hard, where he originated the now iconic everyman cop John McClane. I have never seen Die Hard. I don't know if that's weird or not, because it's such like a cult classic. Like, everybody loves Die Hard. I should probably watch it at some point. While his status as an action hero solidified with turns in films such as the Die Hard sequels and 1991's Last Boy Scout. That was weird. He also took smaller roles in the 90s genre films such as Death Becomes Her and Pulp Fiction. Yeah, that was fun. Which garnered him reputation beyond mere silver screen heroics. His Turns and 12 Monkeys, The Fifth Element, and Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense is very, very good. Okay, I liked Sixth Sense a lot, and I enjoyed. If you haven't seen it, this is a spoiler, but like, Sixth Sense connects with James McAvoy's movie Split, about like the multiple personalities or whatever. Bruce Willis shows up at the end, or like after the end credits or something, and he's like watching the TV screen or something, and you find out it's connected to Sixth Sense. And then they continue it with Glass, which is about Bruce Willis's character in Sixth Sense, Samuel L. Jackson's character in that as well, Mr. Glass, Mr. Glass, I think, and then James McAvoy's crazy character in Split, and then there's the three of them in Glass. Glass was boring. I didn't like it. I didn't like that they killed Bruce Willis in that. I think I didn't like it. I enjoyed Split a lot, and I enjoyed The Sixth Sense, but I did not enjoy Glass. Wait, did I just say that wrong? I might have been wrong about that. Was it The Sixth Sense, or was it Sixth Sense? Might have been the I see dead people one with the kid that like sees dead people around. Let's look this up. I'm sorry. I might have just totally misinformed everyone. Oh no. Glass. Glass. Okay. So Glass. Vigilante. Okay. Prequel, Split. Okay. So what order do these go in? It probably wasn't Sixth Sense. I probably just totally misinformed everyone. If anyone, Bruce Willis movies, I get those movies confused, so that might be part of the issue here. I feel so bad. I probably just told everyone the wrong thing. I'm so sorry. Let's go find out. Glass, Split, and now we gotta go pretty far back in time to find. Why don't I just type in Split on IMDb? I can't remember for the life of me the name of this movie. I wrote Spilt, not Split. Split. I'm really mad at myself for doing that. Okay, photos, actors. Unbreakable. That's what it was. It wasn't The Sixth Sense. I'm sorry. Sixth Sense is the Shyamalan one about the kid who sees dead people or whatever. Like he can communicate or whatever. And again, I'm going to spoil it, but it ends up being Bruce Willis's character is dead as well. And that's like, nobody can see him but the kid. And it was a cool twist. I really enjoyed Sixth Sense, and I really enjoyed Unbreakable. And I'm sorry that I just like confused the two. That's embarrassing. But I also have not seen either of those movies. I think one when my husband and I were dating. And I think Unbreakable, we were married when we watched it, but like really early in the marriage. So it's been years. So, whoops. Sorry about that. Anyway, all of this to say, as Willis's career moved to the 2010s, reports began to emerge the actor was having trouble remembering lines, including one of his last hit films, M. Night Shyamalan's Glass from 2019. Okay, yeah, so we were married when I watched Unbreakable, because we watched Split, and then we went to go see Glass. So 2019, it's been a while. Sorry, I forgot. But yeah, anyway, that's really sad about Bruce Willis. Again, like, time is terrible. Time, what is the quote from The Hobbit? I gotta look it up. The riddle that Gollum says to Bilbo in the cave. It cannot be seen, it cannot be felt, cannot be heard, cannot be smelt. It lies behind stars and under hills and empty holes. It fills, it comes first and follows after, ends life, kills laughter. I think that's from the book. That's from the book. anyway, I can't find it, but basically it talks about like devouring, like this thing devours fields and flowers, can't be stopped. Time, it's sad because that's what time does, you know. It marches on, we grow old, and it takes us. But yeah, so that's sad to see about Bruce Willis. Sad to see about Jimmy Carter. I think I'm gonna end it here. I don't want to go on and ramble, and just kind of like, you know, be kind of pointless at this point. I think that was good. I'll wrap that up here. Again, if you want to follow along, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, fearmeitsbre, and I have the Fearmeitsbre blog and podcast on Substack if anyone wants to look into that. I think I have the link for that in like my YouTube in all my bios. I'll probably try and include the links to these articles once I put it up on YouTube in the description if anyone wants to read them. Maybe not like the Bruce Willis one, I don't know. The main articles that I was doing, I will do description link to. If anyone likes this, if they could share it, if you've stayed with me thus far, I'm not sure why you did, but you did. So thank you for that. Hopefully everybody has a great start to their week. I'm recording this on a Sunday, so I think I'm going to put this up tomorrow night. So by the time everyone watches this, it'll be Monday. So this could be just like totally old information that nobody cares about by then, but I thought I would do it while I had a quick moment of quiet, and I'm gonna leave everyone with that. Thank you for watching, and I will see everybody next time.